Um, about a year ago, the Secretary of Defense issued a PAC, Program Action Directive, which fundamentally changed the way units verify that they ensure that they have the capability to go off to war to do their mission. In the past, it used to be the old ORI way, where you'd get inspected every 4 or 5 years, and you prepare for those inspections with OREs and things of that nature, and you prepare for those inspections. It became very, very clear that we were spending a ton of money preparing for inspections, and it was taking about 20% of the Air Force out of pocket to prepare for those inspections. You couldn't deploy, you couldn't do anything during that year-long period when you were about to have your ORE. Come on in. So something had to be done. And that's where we came up, where we wound up with this new Air Force inspection system. And the fundamental thing about the Air Force inspection system is you don't have people from the outside coming in to inspect you. We are responsible for inspecting ourselves and for finding out what we do correctly and what we do incorrectly, and adjusting our resources to fix the things that we don't do correctly, and to make sure that we continue to the things that we do very, very well, to ensure that we continue to do that. So it is a fundamental change in the way people think. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of people and a lot of organizations that if they could get away with something during an inspection, they got away with it, and they were better off doing it because they didn't get written up for it, and they were able to get a much, much higher grade, and oftentimes the grade became more important than the unit's ability to do the mission. So the fundamental thing that we're dealing with now is reporting our own deficiencies. And we do that through two different ways. One is by inspecting ourselves, and that's why it's our responsibility, it's the wing commander's responsibility to ensure that there's an inspection program that goes out and turns over every rock out there and looks to see what we're doing correctly and what we're doing incorrectly. And the other portion of the program is the McT. The McT is not the AFI, it's not the statute that directs us how to do things. The McT is just a checklist of some very important things that are in the AFI and that are in those statutes to make sure that we're doing some of those very important things. It is not the base element for what we do. That still comes from AFIs and statutes. So, with the McT and the self-inspection program, we ensure that we're doing the mission correctly. And if we find out that we're not doing something correctly, it's either because we don't have the resources or we don't know how to do it. And if we don't have the resources, then we direct some resources from over here, whether or not it's money or manpower from over here, and we direct them to a place where we're deficient over here, and that's how we fix things and make the wing better. Now, we're going to have what's called a UEI, and it's called a capstone event. And this UEI is probably going to look somewhat similar to some of the past inspections that we had. However, the reason for that isn't because that's where the UEI is heading. It's because there's a huge learning curve for the IG teams out there to learn how to inspect organizations and to learn what other organizations are doing and how they're handling this new Air Force inspection system. So this UEI that we're going to get that we're going to have in about a week, it's going to be a huge footprint. There's over 60 people that are going to be here. That's not the way the UEIs are going to look in the future. In the future, the UEIs are going to be almost all virtual, and there's going to be a very, very small footprint on people coming to the base. The purpose of the UEI is to take a snapshot look at your organization and see, okay, you said you're doing this right, and this wrong, and this wrong, and going and taking a small sample and saying, okay, yep, you reported correctly, you're doing things correctly. You're reporting the way your wing looks. You're finding out its deficiencies, you're finding out what you do well, and you have a good understanding of how your wing is performing. Now, if a UEI team comes in and they see, oh, you're saying you look like this, but you really look like this, then that means we have to correct our course because we don't really have a good look to see how the wing is doing and how we're performing. So that's the whole basis of what this UEI is about. We say we don't prepare for UEI. However, it is human nature when you have people coming in from the outside to look at you. You know, you take a shower, you comb your hair, and you put on your clean clothes and all that stuff. So I'm not saying that we haven't done anything to prepare for the UEI. However, that is not the way we're doing things in the future. We are preparing to do our wings mission, both its state and its federal mission. We say it all the time, the most important thing we do is send our people off to war. And getting ready for an inspection is not what we're here for. I'm not saying that there aren't certain things we do, and we will. We'll be gracious hosts to the inspectors and so forth, but we are not doing this simply to prepare for this inspection. We're doing all the things with the McT and all the inspections that we're out there doing to ourselves to ensure that we can do our mission. And that's the whole crux of everything.